A Spanish frigate picked up a 16-year-old boy floating on a piece of debris in the Mediterranean late last night. He's believed to be the only survivor of a shipwrecked refugee vessel carrying nearly 150 people. It debarked from Libya, and it contained mainly refugees from sub-Saharan Africa. This 16-year-old, the only survivor, 147 believed to be dead at this point.
Well, a lot of people talk about refugees like they have some sort of bad intent. You know what their intent was? To find a little bit better life for their kids.
Yeah.
And only one survived.
Yeah, there was, by the way, there was another, we try to focus on these because there was a little bit of news about it last year, and then it's gone. Nobody really talks about it. I mean, Reuters and CNN, they'll mention it in an article. Another ship with like 350 people on it was lost off the coast of Libya. Thankfully, a ship got the people, rescued them, but that could have ended exactly like this story. It happens all the time. Additionally, a bit of domestic news. Despite no evidence whatsoever that this actually occurred, 74% of Republicans now believe Donald Trump's claim that Trump Tower was wiretapped during last year's election. 74%. Nearly 50% of everyone in the country believes it. There's no evidence whatsoever, but you can get nearly half the country to believe just about anything these days.
I tend to think that Obama was hiding in a microwave.
We don't know about that yet. Okay, the number's a bit lower there. Trump still having to staff his cabinet, has a lot of picks he needs to make. His pick to be the next Air Force Secretary is former Congresswoman Heather Wilson, who currently owns stock in 16 different defense contractors, and after she left DC, went to work for a subsidiary of Lockheed-Martin. Jesus. And so she will now be in charge. And she was investigated, by the way, for using insider information from when she was on the House Armed Services Committee to benefit the companies she was affiliated with so that they could get government contracts. That was before she left DC to become a lobbyist.
No, the only slight upside of Trump is how brazen he is. He's like, why bother with the middleman? I want the oil companies to run our foreign policy, so I'm going to take the CEO of ExxonMobil and make him in charge of foreign policy, make him Secretary of State. I want the defense contractors to rob us blind. Why bother pretending? Take a person who works for defense contractors, or 16 of them, right, and make her the head of the Air Force, so we just make the corruption more obvious.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I've been corrupt my whole life. I'm president. What difference does it make?
It's believed that she might divest from those stocks, which seems odd. Why should his employees be held to a higher standard than Donald Trump is? Weird how that works out. A bit of good news, actually, in terms of energy. Last year, coal made up 30% of all of the electricity generation in the country, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually the lowest share that coal has had in the 70 years that information has been tracked. And to put it in perspective, just 9 years ago, it made up 48%. So it is on the downslope. I know that Republican politicians still like to throw around coal as this big thing, but coal executives don't believe the jobs are coming back. It's not competitive in terms of cost anymore. Now that doesn't mean that we're just using solar and wind. Those are going up significantly, but it's actually natural gas that has taken up a big share of coal's former thing.
And you thought we wouldn't clean up coal.
Exactly. Clean it up by getting rid of it. And
right.
Finally, a Manhattan design firm has released their early plans for a skyscraper that would be built dangling from the bottom of an asteroid placed in geosynchronous orbit over Earth.
Get that.
Now, they admit it's not currently feasible, but it does look
really?
Awesome.
Yeah. How are you going to get to the asteroid to
Well, that's actually
get
possible.
on the building?
NASA's working on a plan to visit and redirect a small asteroid. Now, you'd need a bigger one. It would cost billions of dollars, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible, and it does look pretty cool.
And so you take the elevator down, I presumably.
There's no elevator. They do have some pictures of people parachuting, though.
Yeah, here's who won't be living in that building, me.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit expensive too.
Young Turks membership creates independent media.
Believe me.
No ads.
Believe me.
All the shows.
Believe me.
On demand.
Believe me.
Support independent media.
Believe me.
It's awesome, tremendous, you'll love it.
Believe me.
And by the end, you'll be thinking,
I'm like a smart person.
tytnetwork.com/join.